Hey guys, welcome to this week's podcast episode. And today's talk is all about making the 10x leap. And I've got a fantastic guest from Iowa, Steve Walsh. He talks about investing in tomorrow's legend. He's an influencer, and it's going to be a fantastic conversation about business strategy, entrepreneurship for the audience. So, Steve, welcome.
Hey, Chris, thanks a lot. It's great to be on. The one thing is for this, I've written this book, Make the 10X Leap for entrepreneurs. And I believe that, entrepreneurship is so broad, but I feel that the one thing that I felt is entrepreneurs are running across and doing the same problems all the time. It was kind of like I saw them, you could see what they were doing. And I was like, I need to write a book on this. And my background is venture capital, private equity, but where I started was as an entrepreneur, and I started with a company. I did a pet supplement company, and then I started from there. But I really love working with entrepreneurs because they bring some great energy, but they also have a lot of problems, and I'm here to bring them, so they can bring that 10x leap. A lot of times entrepreneurs are get into the weeds. They just can't understand what's going on, why they're struggling with like they're struggling. And I'm the guy that they bring in and say, hey, there's a better way to do it. And that's why I write the book. The book is to give them tools and some strategies to use. And one of the things is the mindset's the most important thing. When I interview entrepreneurs, I bring them through I first do what's called a predictive index. And it kind of gives me an idea of who they're about. If they're a driver, or are they a visionary, or are they more of a strategic? Are they the one that wants to be in the weeds? There's a lot of entrepreneurs that they're kind of more of the visionary. They see the big picture, but when they start getting into the weeds, they lose that. And so then I come in and give them even a bigger picture. I believe that every company has a potential of growing and scaling. It's just a matter of that entrepreneur. He's got that mindset. He's got it. Either he is struggling with giving up control. I think we all struggle with that sometimes, is giving up control. And so I always try to say, can we bring in people, systems that will expand where they're at now? And people, it's like, as an entrepreneur, they sometimes want to do everything. Well, that's kind of the worst thing they can do. So bring in some of the people that can do some of the things. I'm working with this group right now, and that is one of the things is they're kind of almost afraid to pivot. They're struggling to get, they know they need to do something, but they're struggling to see what it is that they need to do. And so from outside, I can look in and see what parts may be missing. It could be capital, it could be people, or it could be just the mindset. I think, that's the one thing that they struggle with. And Chris, you probably see it all the time.
Yeah, it's what I really enjoy is talking about entrepreneurs and raising capital. So one thing that we talk about is so you have this idea of making the 10x leap. And so what is the driving force behind this 10x leap? Why did you write it, and key takeaways?
Yeah, so there's a lot of entrepreneurs that, and like I said, they get in the weeds. Do they want to be this is a good example. So a friend of mine, it was a sushi chef. And one of the things he struggled with is he was working 60 hours a week, and he wasn't seeing his family. And so he was struggling. What he was, he had one restaurant. He had a great mentor, and that's where I come in. And I as a mentor, I love to mentor entrepreneurs. He had a great mentor. The mentor said to him, "Do you want to be a chef? You want to be a business?" And so he said, obviously, he wanted to be a business owner. Okay. So what do you have to be as a business owner? You have to bring in people, systems in place, capital, if you bring in capital also to grow. So what he ended up doing is going out and finding the best people he could to replace him for some of the things he was doing. He didn't need to be a sushi chef. He didn't be the manager on the floor. So he put in systems in place. So he went from 1 to 8 within almost a year, probably 18 months. Eight restaurants. And so the biggest thing is it was really the mindset he had to break through. It's a matter of, are you going to be in the weeds? Are you going to be the day-to-day? Are you creating yourself a job? Or do you want to be a bigger, better entrepreneur? That's the thing you look at is, what do you want to do? And so that's where I come into play, is bringing them in to look at what they're doing and seeing is there some things that they can do that somebody else can do? Typically, they always say, well, nobody can do as good as them. I believe there is that person out there that can do it just as good as they can, if not better. And so, it's a matter of, and my philosophy is that the two things that really drive a company is innovation and marketing. If you have those two things down strong, then your company should grow relatively fast. Innovation's important. Everything else is a cost. And I think that the one thing I found is that most of the time, the entrepreneur has that mindset. They're great at innovation, terrible at marketing. And so then it's like, okay, if that's the case, let's see who we can get in to replace them in that side. But it's also, the thing is, you have to look at what does it makes them unique. Everybody always says that I'm better than the other company. Well, that's great, but why is that? And so what is it going to make them unique? And that is really what you hone in on. And so I always ask entrepreneurs is, are you going to be just the random company out there that produces a product that anybody can produce? Or are you going to be something big and bold and special that makes it different from anybody else? And so then it's a matter of, how do they work on that? How do we drill off of that, and how do we market using that marketing strategy to do that? And that's the thing that really gets me amped up is, and that's part of the thing is, when I did this book, Make the 10X Leap, is to get the mindset rolling. I think the one thing is, I have what's called a DNA mindset, and that's discipline, no excuse, and action. The discipline of actually doing it, maintaining high standards for yourself and your team. That's the biggest thing. And then the no excuse mindset. The one thing is, take responsibility for what you're doing, and make sure that your team will take responsibility for what they're doing. And then taking action. That's the other thing is too, take the action for what, and that's going to be, I guess, making decisions and sticking to them. I think that's, if you look at really strong, high successful entrepreneurs, they'll do that. And, the laser focused, and they have, I think, a strong play to win. That's the thing.
Yeah. The next question I have is, you've worked with a lot of entrepreneurs, and it's really interesting. And so what are, a lot of entrepreneurs could be struggling. And so what was the most common piece of advice you find yourself giving to struggling entrepreneurs? And talk about the common pitfalls you've noticed that entrepreneurs often fall into, and how can they avoid them?
Yeah, I think, entrepreneurs, like I've said, is that they tend to have a struggle with giving up control. I mean, that's probably one of the biggest things they have is, giving up some of the control. But they have to look at is, what's their strong points, and what is that they are strong in, and then find everybody that they can work around them. Those are the things. Give up the control. It's never, the problem is, if they're continually in the weeds, they never can get out and do the things that they're really good at. I guess that's their, I say the zone of genius. Where's their zone of genius? And then from there is have everybody else come around them. And that's, I think the one thing is entrepreneurs they want to be jack of all trades. And, you and I know that doesn't happen. They're probably really strong. Maybe they're a great visionary. Maybe they're a great operations guy or girl. But the thing is, I think they just have to really understand that where their zone of genius is, and then work around that. And that's, I think, that comes down to the mindset. They have a learning mindset. I've worked with entrepreneurs that they come in and they are really closed-minded. Typically, on those people, I have a hard time with, because it's like, we have to work on being open and looking at bringing in operations, systems, capital. That's the other thing is too, capital. I see also entrepreneurs struggle with bringing in capital because they're afraid of giving up some of the equity. The biggest thing on that is if they look and bring in the right group, they're not just bringing in capital, they're bringing in the expertise that everybody else is from that. And so it's actually, if you look at the amount of growth that they want to do, if they really want to grow their company, it's the best way to do it. And, if they can go from where they're at now to 10x it relatively quick, and do they want to exit that? It's, great way to do is bring in equity. I would say bring in equity versus bank. And the reason why I say that is because you're going to bring in people that have operation knowledge. You're going to bring in people that have mentors. You're going to have people that actually bring in teams. They could potentially bring in a team for you. Those are the things that you really look at when you're looking at companies that want to invest in you. And then it's also is like, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to have a lifestyle, or do you want to just 10x this company? If you want to be a lifestyle company, that's a job. And so a lot of people look at it as they have this company, they own this company. Is it a job, or is it going to be something more than what they are? And so then it's a matter of, if that's the case, then it's a matter of, what do you need to do to get there? And so I bring in, the people, systems, capital, everything that they need to get them the next 10x level. And then it's a matter of, from there, it's, what type of lifestyle they want to be. A lot of times I talk to entrepreneurs and say, let's work backward. If you want to be, what's your end goal? And then let's work backwards from there. And that'll be the idea is, from there, it's okay, I have this goal, how am I going to do it? And but it comes down to the mindset. That's the number one thing I think that I run across is that mindset and the ego. Egos, everybody has an ego, and it's a matter of how big it is. And are you willing to live with what's going on, with your company? So,
Yeah. How can people contact you and check out your book and follow you and reach out to you?
Yeah. So if you want to go online, you can see Steve at bisonequitygroup.com you can contact me there. My book is on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. Either way, you can get buy my book, or you can go online on my website, bisonequitygroup.com, and you can get my book from there too.
Yeah, and for all the audience, be sure to give Steve's socials a like and follow, and be sure to check out his book. It's on Amazon, and leave a 5-star review. And thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks a lot, Chris. It was great. Good talking.